Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here to talk about the National Football League. Let's talk about over-unders. But remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, my own personal preference, this is just a personal preference, is to bet on teams to win either their divisions or their conferences. You'll find that that's where the casinos give you big odds. Not plus 130s and plus 150s, but odds like plus 1,000, right? 10 to 1, 15 to 1, 20 to 1, and what have you. Then what I like to do as the season progresses, it's much easier to hedge positions. If I were to take, for example, in the AFC East, the New England Patriots to win that division, and if Tom Brady were to get hurt, if they were to suffer other key injuries, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Aaron Hernandez, whoever, Deion Branch, Chad Ochocinco, if they were to suffer debilitating injuries and if they lost some games on turnovers, and if it looked like the Jets were going to win that division, then that's an easier bet to straddle. I can, in November or December, then take the Jets at whatever odds are being offered to hedge my risk on the play. You can't do that with over-unders, right? When we're talking about the number of games a team is going to win in a season, whether they're going to be over or under the prop being offered by the casino, you're stuck. In other words, if I were to take the Chicago Bears at over 8.5, and the Bears start poorly, and Jay Cutler gets hurt, Johnny Knox gets hurt, Brian Urlacher gets hurt, things happen, right? They lose some games they should have won. The team's in disarray, internal dissension. If any of those things happen, and the team is on a prolonged losing streak and doesn't look like they're going to get to 9 wins for the over to win on an 8.5 prop, then I'm out of luck. So you need to understand the risk here. This video is on over-unders, number of wins for NFL teams. Just understand these are very risky bets, right? It's your money. You're making your decisions. This video is for grown-ups, right? Just understand that there is significant risk involved. Well, I'm going to name 3 teams, and I'm going to name 3 props on these over-under props being offered by casinos that I think will be winners. Of course, the opinion that matters is yours, because it is your money, and regardless of my opinion or your opinion, what will ultimately rule the day will be the actual results on the football field. The first team that I think is going to deliver, the first prop, is the over 8.5 wins for the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears win at least 9 games this season. Understand, last year, the Bears were a higher rated defense than the Baltimore Ravens. They were the 9th rated defense in the National Football League, not the NFC, but the entire league. Not only that, their superstars are returning. Julius Peppers, he's back. Lance Briggs, he's back. Brian Urlacher, he's back. They've added some key pieces. Johnny Knox was their lead wide receiver last year. He had more than 900 receiving yards. They've added Roy Williams. I'm not saying that Roy Williams is a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. What I am saying is he does add a veteran set of hands to Knox and Devin Hester. They've also added Williams' teammate from Dallas, Marion Barber. Now they're playing the AFC West. That's their out-of-conference divisional opponent from the other conference. And the AFC West does have some tough teams. The San Diego Chargers, I believe, are legit. The Oakland Raiders, depending on who you talk to, they were 8-8 last year. They were a troublesome team. They were a talented team, even without Nnamdi Asomugha. But let's be real here. The Chicago Bears made the NFC Championship game last year. The team they lost to, the Green Bay Packers, ultimately won the Super Bowl, right? Even though the Bears have a challenging schedule, and even though some teams in their own division, notably the Detroit Lions, might be tougher than expected, when you have a team with a top 10 rated defense, most of the veterans are coming back, and they're adding veteran talent, and they play in a very hard place to play, right? They're in cold Chicago. Some of these teams, the Lions, for example, who I mentioned earlier, the Vikings, they're indoor teams who probably are going to have problems playing in the cold weather. Not only that, you've had continuity defensively, right? Lovie Smith has the Bears playing a cover 2 defense. They've done it for years. They're masters at it. 9-7, that's very attainable for a team that made the conference finals last year and has everyone back. And I understand that people are down on Jay Cutler because of the playoff game against the Green Bay Packers. Understand that Packers secondary picked off Ben Roethlisberger in the Super Bowl, looked great against a slew of quarterbacks. You remember in the playoffs, they shut down Michael Vick. They shut down Matt Ryan. Jay Cutler wasn't the only one sidetracked by that Green Bay defense. Cutler, by the way, last year threw for about 3,200 yards. He's a decent enough quarterback to win 9 games. I like the over 8.5. Currently, that's being offered at a -115. The next team that I like, and this is from the AFC West, is the team that last year was ranked #1 in offense and #1 in defense in the entire league. And that's the San Diego Chargers. They have one of the league's best quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, right? They don't have some of the problems they had last year. This year, Vincent Jackson is in camp, right? He was franchised. He will be there from the first day, barring injury in the preseason. They also signed Malcolm Floyd, re-signed him. Ryan Matthews is there. I believe that this team is set to roll. I like the over 10 wins. You're going to get that at even money odds. I believe that in their division last year, Kansas City overachieved. I believe that Denver this year has a lot of uncertainty, has a new coach. It's a new regime. John Elway's running the team now, right? John Fox is the new coach. They're still trying to figure out who their quarterback is. Might be Kyle Orton, might be Tim Tebow. My point to you is the games in the division, and I understand that the Chargers lost twice to the Raiders last year, but the games in the division are winnable, and even though they take on the NFC Central, right, the NFC North, they, quite frankly, have the firepower to do it. Keep in mind, they also have Antonio Gates. Look at his numbers for the first 9 or so games of last year. Phenomenal. He was injured late in the season last year. He's back now. You have all the horses on the track. You have the #1 rated defense returning its stars. You have the #1 rated offense returning its stars. This 10 looks awfully low to me, right? The problem with the Chargers is at times they've started seasons slow. If they could get out the gate early, you're looking at a team that quite frankly has a realistic chance of getting home field through the playoffs. I like the over 10 for the San Diego Chargers. That pays you at even money. Now let's talk about a team that I think is going to disappoint. right? And they're in the AFC South, and they are the Tennessee Titans. The over-under number is 6.5. I don't think they get to 7 wins. I like the under here. Keep in mind, this team has a host of problems. Cortland Finnegan leaves camp. There's some question about why he did so. Might have been a personal issue. Might have been a contract issue. Maybe he's taking his contract personally. Whatever the Cortland Finnegan situation, we know that Chris Johnson is taking the contract seriously, right? And all I can say is Chris Johnson's holding out. Preseason is going on as I'm making this video. Without Chris Johnson, and keep in mind, he's such a big part of their team that he actually set the record for most yards from scrimmage. He's the current record holder, right? Chris Johnson, if he's not there, then this team really has problems. Not only that, even with him there, the team has problems. They have a new quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck. I understand Matt ruled the roost for several years in Seattle. I understand he got Seattle to a Super Bowl one year. Didn't win it, but did get them there against the Steelers. The problem I have is simply now he's in a new system, new conference, new quarterback. That leads to uncertainty. Throw in the fact that you have a rookie head coach. Loved Mike Munchak when he played. We won't know what kind of coach he is until he actually starts coaching, right? So a new quarterback, rookie coach. If you look at their defense, I believe last year the defense wasn't ranked in the top 25, right? So you have a defense that needs work. Your key offensive player is out. New guys at key positions. And, oh, did I forget to add, you're playing the NFC South, right? That's their out-of-conference group of opponents. That means they're going to have to play the Atlanta Falcons. And keep in mind, that game's in Atlanta. They're going to have to play New Orleans, who made the playoffs last year. They're going to have to play Tampa Bay, a sleeper team on many people's lists, right? Keep in mind, LeGarrette Blount now gives Tampa a huge upgrade at the running back position over Cadillac Williams. Josh Freeman is rapidly becoming a Pro Bowl regular, right? This guy, the talent is obvious. Look at the touchdown to turnover ratio from last year. And even the weak team in the NFC South could be a problem, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Keep in mind, when Tennessee plays Carolina, that game's going to be in Carolina, right? And Carolina just re-signed D'Angelo Williams. You have Cam Newton there. I believe even that game against Carolina that Tennessee has is going to be a competitive matchup. I just don't see how they, in the AFC South, given the other teams in their division, I just don't see how they get to 7 wins. And what I like about the under 6.5 is that you're actually getting even money odds. So I like the under 6.5 at even money for the Tennessee Titans. Let me sum up this video. I like the over 8.5 for the Chicago Bears. I believe the Bears win at least 9 games. I like the over 10 wins. Big number, but talented team. I like the over 10 wins for the San Diego Chargers. And I like the under 6.5 for the Tennessee Titans. Now, I'm making this video the second week of August 2011. We'll see what happens. All I ask is that win, lose, or draw, at the end of the season, leave your comments for me here on YouTube. In fact, leave your comments for me here on YouTube now. Let me know what special picks you like. Let's make this video a resource, and the comments to the video, a resource that gamblers, like-minded or dissimilar-minded, can take a look at to see what other people on YouTube think about this upcoming season. This is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, predictfootball.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.